So, Destiny 2 was recently confirmed by the official Destiny Twitter page. And yes, I know that there's been leaks and stuff too, but I was waiting for the official confirmation to do this video. You see, while a lot of people are excited for the new Destiny, I'm a bit skeptical. The last game wasn't bad, in fact I enjoyed it quite a lot. It's the first game in a series, of course it's going to have some problems. However, there are some things that in my opinion need to improve or change if I'm going to buy the next game. So here are my top 5 things that need to improve in Destiny 2. Number 5. The expansions. The expansions for Destiny were really disappointing for me. The first expansion was just 3 new repetitive missions, a new raid, a new strike, and a few new Crucible maps. It wasn't really worth the price. Expansion 2 was a bit better. It had 5 slightly less repetitive missions, a new competitive event, a new co-op mode, a new strike, a new social area, and a few new Crucible maps. But it certainly had more, while it certainly had more content, it still wasn't very fun content. The only real fun I had from it was the first story mission where you get to ride the bikes that can shoot. That was actually pretty fun. Now, I got really excited for the Taken King, mainly because it was promised to be much bigger than the first 2 expansions. And while I did like it, it was a bit overpriced, clocking at around $40, which is more than half of the game's actual cost. And the fact that it didn't come in the expansion pass was a real slap in the face to anyone who bought the expansion pass. Now, I can't really speak for Rise of Iron as I haven't played it, but I have heard that it wasn't really that great. Now, the expansions in the second game I feel like should be a lot like the Taken King but at a lower cost. I really don't want another Dark Below expansion. The Taken King was pretty cool. It featured a whole new expansive story, new areas to explore, new missions, and more. I feel like if the post-launch expansions are going to be worth it, they need to bring a lot of good content to the table at a good price. Number 4. The story. The story in the first game showed a lot of promise, and there was a lot of lore to it, but it was a real shame that there was very little of it told to us. Sure, yeah, there were the Grimoire cards, but that ended up being a terrible idea. You had to leave the actual game, go log on to the Destiny website or app, and read tons of cards with the lore on it. That's a pretty lazy way of telling the actual story. The story in the second game needs to go a bit deeper into the lore and build a new plot off of it. Plus, it also needs to actually tell you the lore in a good way and not force you to leave the game just so you could read it on a digital card. And also, you shouldn't save bits of the story to be told in expansions. Expansions are there to expand on the already existing story, not to continue it off of a cliffhanger. These things need to be done in the story, otherwise it'll just end up being as disappointing as the first game. Number 3. The loot drops. The loot drops in the first Destiny are admittedly pretty bad. It's completely random what you get. Let's just say you spend an hour and a half playing a raid and you just beat the boss at the end. The loot the boss drops is completely random, so even though you just spent an hour and a half grinding out a boss battle, you could just get a common helmet or something else that's really horrible. In the sequel, there needs to be proper rewards for completing raids and stuff, not just random stuff. When loot drops are random and the players get something horrible even though he spent an hour and a half trying to get something good, it's just going to be a waste of their time to keep playing the game. In the second game, we need proper rewards for grinding out that long. Number 2. The launch. The launch for Destiny was pretty bad. Sure, yeah, the game worked and there was no really huge glitches and stuff, but the content that was given to us at launch was pretty bare bones, and the game certainly wasn't worth $60. There was a campaign, which was pretty much a slog to play through due to a lackluster story, and it was also really short. It only took me about 4 hours or so to complete it. There was also free roaming on the planet, but that got extremely boring after a while, so really the only other interesting thing was to play the Crucible, which was also pretty lacking on content and also was pretty unbalanced at launch. If the second game is going to keep its day one player base, it's going to need a lot more interesting things to do at launch, including a more competent story campaign. Number 1. The gameplay. This is the main thing that needs to be improved. To start out with, the game was really repetitive, especially at launch where the main meat of the game lied in its story campaign. A lot of the missions in the campaign were forgettable. Even after just recently playing all the way through the game, I still won't really be able to tell you what half the missions were. However, most of them boggle down to deploy your ghost to this object while you survive waves upon waves of enemies, and wash, rinse, and repeat for about 4 hours. The environments were also repetitive too. Every mission you just start out the same location almost every single time, forcing you to keep going the same routes over and over and over again, which caused the game to just become boring after a little bit. Like I said, at launch, the Crucible was unbalanced and there was very little content for it. So yeah, that needs to be a bit better. So yeah, that's how I feel the gameplay should improve. So guys, that's been my first ever scripted video. This is the first time I've actually written a script for a video and like actually flushed it out and stuff. Now, if I did sound like I've been hating a lot on this game in this video, I really don't hate the game. In fact, I really do quite like it. But like I said, there are a lot of things which I really do think should improve, and that's why I'm being so harsh on it, is to give Bungie the idea that this stuff needs to be improved. And I really do hope that Destiny 2 is a good game, because honestly the first game was a decent first attempt, but like I said, the second game definitely does need to be better, especially if they want to keep this series going. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it, and if you did like this video, leave a like. If you didn't really like it, dislike it, and tell me why you didn't like it. And I hope you guys do subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.